Happy Saturday night out there. Got a couple of requests today for Litecoin actually. I thought I'd do a chart real quick because people are asking for it since we are about 16 days away from the halving. So let's see what's going on in Litecoin. I'm going to do a quick chart here on the weekly, just pointing out a couple things that I'm looking at for maybe a little bit more broad market, looking for maybe a primary trend change, that kind of thing. So let's take a look at Litecoin. All right, we've got a weekly chart here for Litecoin against the dollar. The things that I have on the chart, the red dotted lines are basically trend lines. I got these vertical lines to show some change in trend. The vertical lines here. This red vertical line is when the next halving is, which in 16 days on August 5th. This little blue arrow right here is when the last halving was back in 2015. So just to kind of give a sense of where the market was at that time. But what I'm looking at here, main thing is just these trend changes, and that's what I'm kind of following here on the broad market. So you got this red dotted line here showing a little bit of bearish trend, and it got to the point where the price broke above this trend line to the upside. And at the same time, you're getting a crossover on the directional index lines here on the ADX. The black line is the ADX. The two directional index lines is the red and the green. The green positive directional index was increasing to show a little bit of life for the bears, or for the bulls, excuse me. And then the ADX was also increasing to get a little bit of a momentum to the upside. And at the same time, and this is what I really want to focus on, is the RSI. I got this dotted line here that's going to be my main support level for the indicator itself. We were in underneath here in this bearish market, or underneath the dotted line would be the bearish zone. So as this market was coming down bearish here, we were in this bearish zone. At this point, when it broke the trend line to the upside and found some momentum, it busted up above this. Now, we went into this, kind of a sideways market here for a long time. I mean, the ADX was showing a lot of bullishness, but we generally were in a bullish market when you look at this long term. But it's really this RSI that I'm looking at. Kept coming down and testing support, testing support everywhere along here, and this thing kind of generally kept going higher, sideways but higher. And then it got a little bit of a kick here in 17, just like everything else in the world did. Got the RSI kicking, but you go into this next section here, where the next couple of trend lines here. I got this one right here, where we broke to the downside right at this point. Um, had some support right here. You also got the 55 moving average here, and it broke to the downside. So right at this point, you got the bears that got the negative directional index going up slightly. Not a lot of momentum, which was kind of interesting because the market did come down pretty good. But the key thing that I'm looking at is, this is where the support on the RSI broke right at this point. And, anytime it was above the line, it was in a little bit more of a bullish zone. And then we went into a bearish zone down in here. So as this moved, since we look at this trend line right here with a little bit of a bearish move, then you got to this point right here where it broke to the upside. So if you look at this point, you got the bulls starting to get some momentum here on the change of the positive directional index crossing back, and then we also got the RSI to pop back above this dotted line, which is my support and resistance flip. So we've been back in this bullish zone. So as this price has been moving higher, we're in this zone. Now the RSI has come down here. So far, it has not actually it popped back up a little bit, but it has not got back down to that support level that I'm looking at for a little bit of a broad market change. Now the market has come down a couple of areas of support in here. The 61.8% is at 70.54, and that would be the area that I would think if it got back down there and tested, that's when it's going to really test this support level on the RSI. So if the 61.8% at $70 breaks to the downside, that's going to be my primary trend change from bulls to bears. But right now, I still like this. I mean, we're trading right around $100 at the moment. But if this thing pops back down, the 55 exponential moving average is at 82. The 61.8% levels at 70. You got this trend line that's also in here. So you got a lot of areas of support in here that I think that should show some some buying interest for this as the RSI doesn't flip. Now, if we break this, then I'm going to be saying, okay, we're going to be flipping trend and we're going to start looking the other way. But so far, I'm not in that camp. Uh, right here, the directional moving average or directional index lines are coming together here, not really crossing. They're going to kind of meet up a little bit. But what I'd like to see is this not cross and this not break to the downside as we still have momentum internally for the bulls here. So I'm a buyer on dips still. I still want to buy anything near these support levels as we move forward. And of course, I would put protective stops underneath that in case we get a primary trend change. So with the halving coming here, it definitely came. The interesting thing is like this mark, this market on the trend change here broke to the high and then kind of worked its way down. And right before the halving, it kind of made a low, and then kind of didn't go real great bullish, but at least it stayed steady and kept the market to the upside. Same kind of thing here. We break this trend line, we went to the upside, now we're starting to come back down. And maybe, over the next couple of weeks or the next 16 days, we get a low in here near the 61.8% level, possibly, and then kind of keep this thing to the upside after the halving. I don't know if that's the case because we don't have very many samples to go on since we've only had this halving here. And then the next one that's coming. So that's why I kind of wanted to look at the internals of what's going on. But I really like the RSI to watch for that support. So that's where I'm at on Litecoin. Buy dips, put in the protective stops. Any other questions or comments about Litecoin? Let me know. I'm out on Twitter at FiboSwanny, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace out. Happy trading.